And welcome to Poppy's Workshop. Today I'm going to give a quick little video on uh, basically cutting with the Excalibur and some of the little things that I do to get my lines, my cuts right on the line. So you notice how I feed that, and there's still a little bit of flop there. And when I tension, you'll see that it's quite firm. So let me get this out of the way. I'm not going to be using the vacuum, my bottom and top vac, because it does make a lot of noise. So we've got a couple inside cuts here that we're going to do. Now, one of the habits that I have is, let me get my little pointer here, is when I cut, I tend to have the waste wood to the right of my line, or I should say the right of my blade. The reason for that is I find that my blades drift just slightly to the right. Now, on a straight line, I would not be feeding straight like this. So if this was the line right here, I would not be feeding straight. You'll notice when I do this line, when I come in, I'm going to be cutting at a slight angle. So if this was straight, I'll probably feed at about that right there. Now, you're going to notice that I do go fairly slow on my feed. That way I can keep an eye on the cut as it's going, and I can make these micro adjustments. So let me get into this line and go from there. So you can see, whoops, I do need to have my puffer since I'm not using the vacuum. So let me check. I'm not sure if you can see. Let's try and get that out of the way as much as possible of the line. There we go. All right, so now I'm just about on the line, and you can see I can make these little adjustments to stay on the line. So you can see I'm drifting slightly to the left. I didn't get lined up all the way. There we go. And you can see I'm slightly rotating. And you'll notice just in front of the blade, you can see a little bit of waste bubble, as I call it. And that's where I'm actually focusing. And I'm watching that so I can see how the blade is moving. Now I can go a little bit faster if I want as I get more comfortable. And you can see that bubble building just a little bit. But as I go faster, you can see I drifted a little bit more. So I'm at a point here. I can, do a turn and continue down this line right here. Or I can do a nibble. Whatever you're comfortable with is what you would do. So I'm going to turn that a little bit. And I'm going to do a little bit of a nibble. And I can always go back and revisit that if I want. So we'll do that. I'll make this turn. Notice how slow I'm going. And you'll notice one thing that, let me go back in a second here. Okay, it's very, very subtle, but if you look right here, you can see that the blade kind of wiggled a little bit. That's why I have the waste wood on the right-hand side, because it sometimes wiggles a little bit. I'm going to have to adjust this a little bit more so that the up and down is correct. Now, one of the things I did not mention is I always check, and it will be up against my deck, is that my blade is perpendicular to my cutting deck or cutting bed, whatever you prefer to call it. So that is one of the things that I always check at least once a week if I have not adjusted the head, because the Excalibur, which I prefer, it's the head that tilts, not the bed. But, if you hit it, something drops on it, it could affect it. So once in a while, just throw an angle up against it, Some people use cards, some people use pieces of wood, whatever your preferred method is. And you can then check it. So here, I think I'm going to do a nibble. So by doing a nibble, what I'm going to do is make enough room that I can turn my blade around. I can spin that and then continue here. So you'll notice I never feed straight. I never feed and not move my piece of wood. I use these fingers to kind of anchor and work as a pivot and just kind of spider my way down. The other thing you'll notice that I do is sometimes I kind of release pressure a little bit, get a habit of pushing too hard, and you want to make sure that you're not pushing too hard and letting the blade do the cutting with very little pressure from yourself. So let me do this. I would normally pivot to the left, but I want to go up to this hole just to show you a straight line. So if I was doing a straight line, let me see if I've got a pencil here. I'm going to pivot around. And let's do a straight line. Oh, yeah, that's not going to make it easy for me here. I'm trying to do a short video. There we go. So I want to give you an example of a straight line and watch how I turn. Okay, so this is straight in. I think this is perpendicular. And yeah, usually I'll start that way and I watch. It's like, okay, I can see the blade here wants to go to the right. It's just something that you're going to get to know. And so I'm going to turn just a little bit. And I'm watching. Yes, I think I'm just about on it. By moving very slowly, I can anticipate where that line's going to go. But now you'll see that I'm probably maybe 3 or 4 degrees off from dead center. And I can go faster now if I want. And I just made another micro adjustment. And there you go. So let me do this. Get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. And get that waste wood out. So you can see here, that's a pretty darn straight line. I split that pencil line right down the middle. You can see I'm off just a little bit there, but these are 1 point lines. And if you're off only half a point, people are not going to be able to notice. So that's how you really cut a straight line and some turns on the Excalibur. So with that, that's the end of this video. You make it a great day, and may the Lord richly bless you.